Tuesday, July the 29th. Lake level's right about 9:15. Looks like the lake's, dropped another 6 inches since we did the report last week. It's going down about an inch or so a day. Water temperature is about 82.5, got up to about 83 degrees today. And, I think for the most part, the fishing's a grind. It's pretty tough. Not a whole lot has changed since my report last week. We're still catching. The majority of the fish are out over deep trees, out in the front of deep docks. Most of them seem to be suspended anywhere from 25 to as deep as 45 feet. And the bottom depth that you're fishing over really doesn't matter. Some of the areas are 50, some of them 80 or 90 feet deep. But the fish seem to be relating to the outside edges of the boat docks where the cables are. The cables get a bunch of algae on them. And the bait fish feed on the algae, and the fish tend to hang underneath them. They've been in the top of some submerged timber. I've been getting a few fish off some of the conservation brush piles, but most of them are anywhere from 35 to 40 feet deep. And most of those fish there be relating to bottom, and there hadn't been very much of a bottom bite. The better bite has been out suspended. Now, still catching some on a top water. Every day it's really a day-to-day deal, a dock-to-dock deal. Like today we fished about 3 or 4 docks, but we fished them kind of in a rotation. One time we would get there, wouldn't get bit. Another time we would. Like this morning we started in an area where there was fish surfacing all over the place, and they seemed to bite a Sammy topwater bite better than anything today. I had been catching some of them on a spy bait, that little bait I showed you last week, the little prop bait. I didn't catch a fish on it today. They seemed to come up and bite the topwater bait pretty good. They would slap at the redfin, but this here they seem to eat pretty good. And there was so many fish there, we thought that once they stopped the topwater activity, once the sun got up, we'd be able to catch them on a drop shot. Well, that didn't prove to be the case, but we came back there 2 hours later, and we were able to catch them on a drop shot once they settled down. A lot of the docks I'm fishing are in the creeks, some on the main lake, but probably more in the creeks. And it seems like they got to have 50 to 60 foot of water in the front of them, and they're either out in front of the docks or in the first couple stalls. And I actually had a 9-year-old boy with me today there was a pretty salty little fisherman. And to get to some of them docks in the stalls, I rigged them up a half-ounce War Eagle jigging spoon, and I put it on a spinning rod. He could throw a bait caster, but he wasn't very efficient at flipping it. But he could take and flip the spinning rod. And on the spinning rod, I've got 12-pound nanofill, which is like a braid. Then I've got about 8-foot monofilament leader on it. But anyways, I had him pitching in the docks and over the crossbars. And after about 5 pitches, he had it figured out real quick. Now, the whole deal was, you had to give it about an 8 or 10 count going down, and then you would jerk it, let it go back down, do that about 3 or 4 times, then take up a little bit of slack, work it back out of the stall that way. You didn't have to get in the stalls to catch the fish. If you got, especially in the morning, what you want to do is key on the shaded side of the dock. We did have a couple largemouths on top, but most of the fish we caught on the drop shot and the spoon were Kentucky bass. It just kind of varies from day to day how many fish we're catching. We probably caught 18 or so in half a day today, which is kind of about normal. Some days it'll get down to 10. I did get a chance to go to Stockton and fish with a good friend of mine this weekend. And if a person wants to catch some good fish, we actually fished a tournament up there, and we had 5 that weighed just under 19 pounds. And we had like one over 6 and another one over 5. And most of them fish up there, it's a completely different lake, but those fish up there were caught 12 to 15 foot on a big worm. So it was a lot of fun. And they had a tournament here this weekend, and I think it took 17 pounds to win, which was pretty impressive to me with the way a lot of us have been catching them. Then I think there was a 14 or 15, then I think it dropped hard, and I think half the field only had 1 fish. So, it's kind of a grind out there, and it seems like a lot of the stuff I find today, some of the same areas aren't working again tomorrow. I just got to move around a lot, and there's really not a key thing I'm looking for